Hi, I'm Duarte from Unimar. I'm from Portugal. Hi, guys.
Hi.
So to start, why should people watch The Expanse?
I think people should watch The Expanse because it's set 200 years in the future. So it's a near future. It's a future that feels very, very within our reach. And it examines socio-political issues that are extremely relevant to our day and time today. But at the same time, it's basically a political thriller in space with stunning visual effects.
This show is demonstrating where we could end up should we make certain decisions. And it's kind of cool to see because you don't have to go read history. You can just see a projection 200 years in the future of where certain forces, certain moves, certain pieces of our society get placed to on the chessboard.
It does such a wonderful job metaphorically and through allegory talking about so many of the issues that touch people's lives today in such a nuanced and empathetic way, whether that be politics or identity or race or personal journeys of trauma. There's always such a respect to all of these issues shown in a way that I think is really disarming.
Yeah, I think it's just such a beautiful exploration into human beings, being human consciousness, morality, and the messiness of that, and the kind of grayness of it all, and that there's no perfect way to kind of muddy through life. And if The Expanse tells you anything, it's that. And I love that about our show, and that it's never shied away from, in actual fact. It's this very beautiful, grand display of how flawed we are. So that's probably why I think everybody will always love watching this show, because they will see themselves somewhere in someone's messy choice.
Really good science fiction show with lots of interesting characters and good action. And we made something awesome.
Why should people watch The Expanse?
Yeah.
Because people who care about Mother Earth and the quality of life on Earth, they should really, truly watch The Expanse to see what's going to happen in not even a couple of 100 years from now. That's what they guessed 10 years ago. For me today, within a decade or so, if we're not going to behave ourselves and keep on doing the same thing as we are doing now, going to the beach, throwing our bottles into the ocean, or throwing our trash into the oceans, polluting our air, this is what's going to happen to us. Because I'm not only saying this, a real scientist wrote 2.5 pages on The Expanse, about The Expanse. And it says, he proves to you in 2.5 pages as to why Expanse is the most accurate version of the future if we keep doing what we're doing today. That's why people should watch it.
There's nothing like it out there, I think, when it comes to, like we were talking about, the integrity of the show, when it comes to the science aspect of how rockets work, or like the VFX in season 6 is, oh my God. Watching it on the big screen was just mind blowing and so fun and exciting. But just how they take every little detail, and you ask the producers and how the science works in space, like they know everything. So any science buff can go and watch the show and try and pick it apart. And they're so appreciative that they've done so much work to make it so real. So I think that's really special, and it's taken a lot of work and a lot of love. So we're really proud of it.
Yeah, I think that it's science fiction firing on all cylinders. The story and character development and humanity that's underneath all this beautiful science and physics and things but the way that you watch it and you fall in love with characters and you go through their journey and you cry with them and you feel fear for them and you have this experience. I think that it is a show that offers everything to people that want to watch it.
what can you tell about the next season, in final season, and the destiny of these characters?
You know, I think the relationship culminates in, once again, an incredibly beautiful way. And the writing that we've always had and the relationships that we've developed over the years, it was just such a joy to be able to bring that arc to such a satisfying conclusion, that I think really does it justice, you know, and it was a lovely
Yeah.
thing to be able to do.
They really mature in their relationship in ways that I think they've really struggled with, actually, as a belter and an earther. They're kind of different views on the political situation, of their place in the universe, of what they should be doing. And I think they have it's probably my favorite arc of theirs this season, of where they end up at the end of it. And I think it's really satisfying. But I also think it's really earned. And I think there's some beautiful scenes that they have together where they're fleshing stuff out, but probably in the most honest and kind of grounded way that they ever have, I think, because they've hit peak maturity in themselves and their relationship. So yeah, it's a beautiful ending for them both.
She's getting older. She's aging. She's far more wiser now than ever before. Although this woman her knowledge exceeds her rank and stuff. But still, like myself in real life, every year after year, I feel like, oh, I've gained more experience now. I know how to deal with a certain problem in a certain way. But it's still, there are new issues, new problems, new equations that I have no idea of, and I have to sort of pay attention to it. I was sort of exactly like me. She has learned a lot, and now she's a part of what is going on. She's no longer watching it. She's inside, in the middle of it, with the rest of the people who have suffered these nonsense wars. And of course, another thing that really hurts me is the refugees situation that we see on the Expanse. And then afterwards, I watch the news and I see, my God, this is still going on, but this time in real life, which is, I think, next to COVID, it's the saddest story of today's world, refugee crisis.
Well, the show has a lot of special effects. So what's the comparison between what you imagine and what is the final product? It's a lot of difference, or?
When I first saw, so Marco, we see him on series this season. And when I saw what they did,
I know.
I literally gasped out loud. It's so beautiful what they built. And you know, my imagination was that it's a massive operation, but what they built was on a whole other level. Like the work with the special effects, it literally, I gasped. It blew me away. So I don't think I imagine the scale of my imagination was not as big as they've made it. It's pretty beautiful.
I mean, you know, one thing that I love about the Expanse on the show is there's a lot of practical sets. There's a lot of practical effects that you're on the Rocinante. Everything is made and you build this, and it's really surprisingly not as much green screen as I would have thought when I first, seeing things like this. But there are times where you're just standing on a block and you're surrounded by green and you're doing the scene and you're dodging asteroids or whatever, and then you go back and watch it and you're like, oh my God, and it's filled in with this world. It is pretty impressive and amazing to see.
There's a scene in 601 where we see Amos, I don't know if this is too much information, but come out of the ship and walk to try and fix something in space, and you just kind of like takes your breath away for a second of how you can see everyone working in space this season. It's pretty spectacular.
Have you guys made everything that you wanted to do on this last season?
Well, we pretty much ran out of book at
Yeah,
the end.
no.
So there's not much left to do there.
No, we smoked this one down to the filter.
We did.
Yeah, some things up in
Maybe
the
not
air.
all the answers.
You'll get some answers.
You get some. It's
Some-
definitely a
some-
very satisfying. It's a very satisfying ending, for sure.
Okay.
For sure. But there's definitely some questions, of course, that you have to be left with as a viewer. You have to be left with some questions.
But I have to say they've done a really good job of synthesizing everything and fitting it into 6 action-packed episodes.
Yeah.
We're really proud of it. It is
Yeah.
like we are sticking the landing with this. It is highly satisfying.
Yeah. Going out with a bang.
If you could change your character, the complete character, what world would you live in inside the Expanse? Earth, Mars, or any other world?
Oh, I wouldn't want to live on Earth right now. I certainly wouldn't want to live on Mars. I probably just want to live on the Rocinante. It seems like the only or Laconia. Laconia has nice trees and nice atmosphere, and it seemed like so I probably would live on the other side of the ring on Laconia.
That's pretty. I'm just gonna stick by Amos.
Yep.
It definitely seems like there are certain issues, certain injustices, certain imbalances in our system, financially and politically, that don't go away.
Mhm.
And is that something that we want? Do we want things to stay as they are? It brings up a lot of questions around how quickly or slowly things actually will change. Should we leave them as they are?
Absolutely.
It's,
Absolutely.
yeah.
What was each one of you the most difficult shot to make for the series?
Most difficult shot. Technically or
Emotionally.
emotionally?
Can be one of those.
I think I'll do the technically one because it's an easier question. I think the most difficult shot was shooting the sequence where Holden connects the circuit in season 3, because I was jumping off a very, very tall platform totally naked in front of the crew for like a whole day.
Peak season 3 moment.
Peak
Right?
season 3 moment. Definitely one to remember for me. It was a unique experience that I don't think I'll ever have again. Yeah.
I think technically for me, the season 5 jump, where Naomi jumps from the pillar, and goes through space without a bloody suit on, was really hard, and matching up that kind of like bit where she hits the ship and goes back and forth and then pulls herself in. That was all on wires, and that was quite technically hard. Emotionally, just the whole of season 5 for me. Very rewarding. I didn't know I could do that as an actor, but it was bloody hard. I needed about 3 months recovery. I just checked into a hotel in LA and swam and ate and pined after Josiah, my son. It was so weird. Season 5 was tough. That was a toughie.
Well, thank you very much, you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wish you all the best.